Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Vetting America, episode 25. I'm your host, Adam T. Cummings, and today's guest is Sergeant Ricardo Aviles Aviles. Name so nice, they named him twice.
Sergeant Double A. That's what they used
That's what they call you? Okay.
That's what they used to say.
Who served 6 years in the United States Army from the years 2008 to 2013, and he's currently building his own Spanish translation business called Aviles Translation, LLC. I think I said it wrong. Did I say it wrong?
Aviles Translations.
Aviles
It's
Translation.
fine,
Okay.
Shit happens.
I'd like to thank you all for being here today. And if you feel that you've gotten anything from this interview, please like and share. You can follow him on Facebook at Ricardo Aviles.
Aviles Translations.
AvilesTranslations.com.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into it. So thank you so much for coming on the
Dude,
show.
no, thanks.
I met him yesterday at 1 million, 2 days ago at 1 Million Cups.
1 Million Cups, yeah.
He's about to be going to Panhandle. Are you going to Orlando now?
Orlando.
I thought you were going up to. I thought you were going up to Panhandle.
No, I'm going to Orlando to present on Wednesday.
Oh, there you
it'll
go.
be our 11th one.
Yes.
Yeah, Tampa was our 10th one.
Yes.
Which we got to go pick up the cup.
And he crushed it. And he crushed it. So tell us a little bit about your background and what you got going on today.
So pretty much I started, I was born, raised, and educated in Arecibo, Puerto Rico. So I came to the States, like officially to continental U.S. in 2008 after I was joining the military. So what ended up happening was that I was fluid. So back in high school when I was in the FBLA, I'd be used as an interpreter all the time. So that's where all this started. So after joining the military, I still did some interpreting and translations whenever we had to do apprehensions and stuff like that as an MP. But it wasn't as predominant. You know, I'd say like once or twice a month I was used.
Okay.
And then when I got out, I took Spanish courses, I tutored people and did everything. But it was a little lost for a while when I got out. And then did some internships here and there as an interpreter, as a translator. And then here we are, we just hit our 1 year business anniversary, September 14 of this year was our first year in business.
Congratulations, man. That's
Yeah.
big. That's
Yeah,
big.
it's pretty big.
I just got my 1 year too. So September 24th.
Yeah, people start thinking about you in a different light when they start seeing that you've been in business for a year.
Consistency, man.
Yeah, people start taking you a little bit more
You're
seriously.
not a flash in the pan anymore.
Yeah, you're not just like that guy that's like, you're just here and there. And the 1 Million Cups thing has helped a lot because we've been doing that a lot.
Yes, absolutely. Your wife's your partner, right? Is your wife your partner? She seems to come with you a lot with all these things.
I'm single. I'm single, okay, but I do have lady friends that come with me. I know what's happening later, don't worry. No, I'm single. I actually just got out of a relationship back in March.
Okay.
I just
blew this whole spot up. And
no. You're good, man. You're good. I was in a relationship for 7 years and recently got single. Yeah.
It's good or bad? Good or bad thing?
Man, I think it was good for both of us.
Everything happens for
It was
reason.
good. Yeah, man. It was good for both of us, dude. Mm-hmm. I wish that person the best. And I'm pretty sure she's doing pretty good things in life. And, the week after we signed papers, I was on TV on Color 10 News. So, yeah. If that tells you anything.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about your translation business. You told a really great story at 1 Million Cups when you pitched it. Let's hear a little bit of the background. I mean, you gave us an overarching theme of it with the first question I asked, but let's really get into details and how people could leverage this, or even veterans could leverage this for their transition or for anything that's going on.
So, like, what do you want to know specifically? Like, what are you wanting to know from your business?
Well, let's talk about the meat first, which is the cool stuff. Where you get to help, you get to help law enforcement agencies.
So,
with some
what I do normally, like, I'm labeled in Missouri. Like, I'm just, I'm the guy that gets calls at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to go work with law enforcement, or work with attorneys, or work with kids.
So you're out of Missouri still?
Yeah, I'm out of Missouri.
Okay.
We just drove here. Yeah, we drove here. It was a nice little drive. I'm not used to the humidity, but it's nice and cool in here for some reason. But no, we're out of Springfield, Missouri is where I'm located at, but I travel a lot. A lot of the 1 Million Cups people have given me the name of the traveling terp, which we might do that someday as something. No, we got a podcast called Bridging the Gap.
There we go.
We actually just interviewed Manuel. But no, man, I think that it gives me a purpose. I never felt happier in my life, so to speak, because I've came to notice that it gives me a lot of a purpose. Like when I started the business, we weren't getting a lot of traction, and then my first customer, believe it or not, was a guy from Cali that was hitting on a chick who was Colombian. No, I kid you not. I got to tell you a story. So
that's a good one.
He was hitting on a chick, and he wanted me to get on his Tinder profile to translate like conversations
Paid you to
between.
do this.
I made $572.
What?
Yes, that was my first paycheck.
Jeez.
It was a guy that
Call
just
you Hitch.
Man, I don't know about that, but yeah, that dude definitely he got lucky, and then he recommended some other people, so we get a lot of business from Cali.
Go figure.
Yeah, man. And then from Missouri, our first client was Child Services for a high-end case that it's still going on, so we can't really talk about it. Yeah, but it's involving children, so yeah.
So as a vet-owned business, how do you continue to serve your country?
Man, we help the community a lot. You know, I'm also a Rotarian and a Freemason. So to me, it's like, you know, service above self is always important. But the thing that you got to figure is like, you know, I hate when I hear people like, oh, you served your country. Like, your service to your country, to the world, to whoever the fuck, to your people doesn't end. I'm sorry, I don't mean if you can cuss. I don't mean cuss. Oh, sweet. Fuck yeah. So it doesn't end, you know? And I think that's an issue that a lot of veterans have. Like, they're just like, well, I did my time, fuck it. And like, you got to find purpose, man. And I think that's the issue that we have when we come back from war and we don't have like that purpose. And we start, it's not even the camaraderie, man. Like, you can build that. Like, I got camaraderie with my people. Like, the thing is that you got to have a fucking purpose. Like, you can't just wake up and eat Cheetos and like think that shit's going to happen. Like, you got to like hustle. And I think the issue that we have is that we hustled for so long, or we've hustled, you know, to get to certain things that we got to start from, you know, zero. And I think a lot of people are scared of starting again. You can't be scared of starting again.
No, I was me. That was me. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, dude, that was me for the longest time.
Self-entitled, man. I was like, I ran a $25 million aircraft shop in the Marine Corps. I did all this and that, and all I'm gonna have to start at the bottom.
I'm gonna give you the best piece of advice that my father gave me. No one gives a fuck.
No one cares.
No one gives a fuck.
Here. No one cares.
No one cares. No one cares what you've done. No one cares what you did in the past. Like,
because they don't have any. They have no idea. They have no just.
Here's the thing, man. It's not that people don't have any idea, because I think the general public is very educated as to what we do, and I think that's a double-edged sword. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people, they think that they understand the military, so in turn it puts us in a spot where now people know what we do. In giant quotation laser guns, you know, but at the same time, people don't understand it. No. Like, you can't like watch NASCAR and think that, oh shit, I understand NASCAR, I understand racing. Like, no, like there's
I watched American Sniper. I know how to be a sniper.
Exactly. So that's the problem we have nowadays in society, is that people think that they see these memes about the military and they see all this crap, or people posting on, you know, U.S. Army what the fuck moments, stuff like that, which I love, don't get me wrong, or boots and whatever the heck that one was that got taken down. You know, you post on these things, and a lot of times, you know, people don't get military humor. Like, that's a big thing.
Because it's really
dark. It's kind of like black coffee. You know, it's not for everybody, but it's really good. So, you know, that's the problem that we have. And it's like, I think that society is getting better at like getting those niches, but at the same time, as you know, we have always that one or two veterans, and I say veterans very loosely, because you got those guys that served in basic training for 30 days and they think they're freaking veterans and shit like that, you know, that give us a bad rep. And it's like, man, like, if you serve, you serve. Just shut up, dude. You know, like, yeah, man, it's that 10%. So it's like people who are like, yeah, I'm special forces. Like, listen, dude,
everybody can't be special forces.
I've met
so many special forces people.
Dude, look, we actually have a guy who runs, his name's Alan Shabaro. You can Google this guy, and we're interviewing him in our podcast here in November. And he's an ex Delta operator. Like, he's a task force guy, and that guy doesn't talk, and he's like the nicest guy ever. But he will kill you with his bare hands if he really wanted to.
With a straw.
With a straw. He will kill you with a straw and get an award for it. Yep. And we're interviewing him, and I'm excited to interview him because I'm like, I have so many questions. Like, you don't see these special forces guys, you know, and the people who are attached to them. But going back to that, man, we get deviated. You gotta find purpose.
So what I realized and what really woke me up, so I got out of the Marine Corps chasing money. I was like, done with the military, done with the government. I'm doing Adam. I'm doing me. I'm going to make billions of dollars.
Okay.
No, dude.
I've heard that before.
Dude, I was making pretty good money in an internship, right?
Okay.
And because I wasn't purposed, I floundered, dude, and my soul started to die. What I realized was, even though we were voluntold a lot in the military, we were still serving. We were still volunteering our time. So when Irma hit, we lost power, and I went and served the community. I cooked hot dogs and hamburgers. But that was the most camaraderie, and that was the most fulfillment I had felt in over 4 years.
So here's one thing that everybody in the military knows how to do, but they don't want to admit it, okay? How much did we used to make as an E1? probably like, I think it was like 900 back in the day, 800, right? You got everything else paid for, granted. I get it. You got everything else paid for. But the thing is that you had a purpose, like you just said, and on top of a purpose, you had a sense of accomplishment, because not only did you have something that was a career, it's a lifestyle, okay? Because there's a difference between you making a career or something and having a lifestyle. The military is a lifestyle. You can make it into a career, but you better be able to adapt to that lifestyle. And I think that's the issue that a lot of people have nowadays. They want to, like, get up and out of there and, like, you know, chase the money. And, like, I don't chase money. Like, I don't, like, don't get me wrong, I'm a nerd and I like my nice things and whatnot, but I don't chase the money. I chase something that I like. And in turn, I know it's going to, like, create money. And I use that analogy because our professor, our jiu-jitsu professor, Caio Terra, he says that a lot. And, like, I've hung out with Caio. I've sat down with Caio and listened to him talk. You know, I was in Cali for a month. Last year, was it? Last year, and I slept in the attic of the gym for like a month. And then I ended up getting injured. And Caio was like, he's like, do what makes you happy. He's like, I guarantee you, if you love what you do, you're going to get good at it. And eventually people will pay you. And that's why I do interpreting, because it's like I love doing it. I love being able to be that guy that bridges the gap. So, like, everybody just has to find what they're good at and just continue to work on that niche.
So how did Ricardo become Ricardo? Because you have a very strong personality. We've talked about this before the interview.
I was born.
No shit. No shit. Sherlock over there. But no, seriously, I mean, it seems like just with how dynamic you are, you're an old soul, you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
You've always been a thinker, I have a feeling. And you've always held you've always held yourself like to a higher standard than a lot of others.
Here's the thing, man. I play dumb a lot.
I can see that.
I play dumb a lot.
Why do you think that is?
Because I
find being a troll.
No, and I'm gonna explain this to you. And no one, I've never told this to anybody.
So you're doing it on the camera now.
Oh well, shit. I got my friends that are watching this. She's probably texting my buddy Tyler. My friend Sean knows it. He was he's my army buddy. I'll tell you about Sean later. So I play dumb a lot because I like to see like human reactions. Like I'm at a level now, and I think I've always been like this, you know, ever since a kid, and like no one really ever noticed it. A handful of people notice it, like Lucas Walker, my marketing guy. He notices.
Most people are self-involved.
They are. But like what I like to do is I like to just like push those little buttons just to see where I can take people sometimes, because I get bored.
Perfectly made for the military.
Because I get bored. Because I get bored.
Yeah.
And like the thing is that people are like, oh, that's so stupid. That's a stupid thing to say. I'm like, is it really? Because now I know what your left and right limitations are, and I know where I can take conversations to. And it's a crappy thing to say, but at the same time, it's one of those things.
It's important for
like
what you do now.
It is. It absolutely is. Because now I know where, like, I'll give you an example, right? So I get, through Thumbtack, I get a lot of leads. So, like, now what I do through Thumbtack is I know where to steer the conversations. And, like, a lot of times I may not get a lead, but I'll get someone interested in talking. And if I can get in your head, I'm happy with it. And I do that to a lot of people without them realizing it. Like, I'm in their head and they just don't realize it. But the reason I do that specifically is because it's fun. And to me, it's like, if something isn't fun, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, of course.
You know, like, that's why I have, like, staff, like, right here. You know, this person right here, they just needed to know if a paper needed to be certified or not. I was like, oh, yeah, man, it doesn't need to be certified. Like, whoever told you that is, you know, BS. Oh, yeah, I just confirmed that it doesn't need to be certified. Like, he's like, yeah, man, let me get your business card. So to me, it's like, it's not about making the money. You have to just make a name for yourself and be that guy. It's like in the military.
Sacrifice.
Exactly. It's like in the military. Like, you can become a sergeant, but you're not a sergeant because nobody respects you. You build that name, right? Yeah. So, like, Sergeant AA, I know that I was the guy that a lot of people went, like, oh, okay, if we got an issue or we got to do something, like, we know that Specialist AA or whatever, you know, when I was a specialist, like, he was the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Was that hard for you?
What?
After getting out, knowing that you were... So this is a big problem for me, is in the Marine Corps, I knew who I was. I was Sergeant Cummings. I was looked up to, respected, revered. I was a subject matter expert in my field. I knew everybody. And then all of a sudden I get out and I'm Adam Cummings. I don't know who that is, and nobody cares who that is. So how were you able to transition successfully past being one person where you're looked up to, respected, revered, Sergeant AA, and then all of a sudden now you're Ricardo again? See,
here's the thing, man, is you can't really give a fuck what people say. And I think, like, a lot of times we, especially the fucking Marines, you guys want people to, like, really recognize what you did and what you are. Like, I've done some stuff that some people never knew, you know? I've done some pretty cool stuff in my life that it's like, we don't need to talk about that because there's always a time and place for everything. That's the number one thing, is finding the time and place for everything, you know? I think the second thing that helped me a lot, believe it or not, was Mr. Jack and Mr. Coke would visit me a lot. And we would have long nights, and Mr. Jameson would come visit me a lot too. I'm talking about alcohol, just for the people who are still not following through. And that was horrible. It was really horrible because I went through a phase where, you know, it was really crappy, and you just drink yourself because you just want to feel numb, especially if you've seen some stuff, you know, like, you know, for the few people who've seen like some stuff that's just a little dark, it haunts you and whatnot. So I think that was one of the stages that I went through. And I help veterans now. You know, I get calls sometimes at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I help those guys out because I think it's important to keep that close circle. Like, we have a group called 417 Veterans, which is in the 417 area, Missouri, that we all like get along and whatnot. And it's always like, hey, I got to do this, I got to do that. The VA did this and that, and we help out. And I think that's the thing, is like staying involved.
Yes. I pushed everything away, and that was the worst thing I could have done.
You can't do that, man. You can't. And
well,
I think the issue is,
I think it was powerful because I needed to get back, reassess, and then now that I'm returned back into this community, I'm in a better place to help serve.
You know why that happened though? Because you didn't know who the fuck you were
Before I went in.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So the problem that a lot of people have is they go into the military not knowing who I was. Like, I really didn't know who I was. I was like this little fat kid that just like was really shy, and like
I got an equal sign in boot camp.
You know, exactly. So like the thing was, like, when I got out, it was really difficult to like try to reassess all that. But like, you know, I had a good support system. That's the biggest thing, is like you got to have a support system. And you know, I'm by myself. Like, I live in Missouri, but the closest family members I have are in Texas, and then everybody else is in Puerto Rico. So everybody's like pretty freaking far away. So like, that's the second. The third thing is you got to have a support group. The fourth thing is like, you got to be honest with yourself. But I say that's the fourth thing because you can't be honest with yourself unless you have people there to be like, yeah, that's fucking stupid. Like, you shouldn't do that. Yeah. But no, it's okay. We're gonna tape both beds to him, and we're gonna throw them. No, that's still dumb. You always need that person there to tell you that it's a bad idea. And honestly, like, the fifth thing is just like realizing that there's an issue. You know, like, I'm more aware now of like when I have an issue and like how to deal with like my feelings, so to speak. Like, when I feel like something like that, I know how to deal with it, and it's not, you know, at the end of a bottle and whatnot.
So what are your positive therapy mechanisms, basically, to get yourself out of ruts, to get yourself out of negative?
I do jiu-jitsu, and you know, I've been hit and miss because of the business.
Yeah.
But I keep myself busy. You know, sometimes, you know, in a day I'll work probably 18 hours because I have so much stuff going on that a lot of times I have to take a minute off. But in a week I try to make it at least once or twice. Because it centers you, and it keeps you humble.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, you know, you could be the top dog, like, you know, like you could be the Michael Jordan. Yeah, you could be the Michael Jordan.
And then you go get rolled up on.
You go to jiu-jitsu and you're just like
pretzeled.
Yeah, exactly. You're like Jordan playing baseball. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Perfect analogy.
Exactly.
Analogy, yeah.
So that's the thing, is like, you gotta have like healthy coping mechanisms. You know, I smoke cigars too. Whenever I have a bad day, I smoke a nice good cigar. You know, I talk with my friends. I talk with my friends every day. Like, my friend John and my friend Sean, we talk literally every day. Some people like to call them my second husband or some shit like that. But yeah, no, we're pretty close together. Yeah. And then the other thing that you have to realize is that, you know, there's a lot of opportunities out there, and there's a lot of stuff out there. You just got to be able to move.
But not every opportunity is right for you, though. That's a big thing that
it's
a lot of
like
people
dating.
jump on every opportunity.
It's kind of like dating, man. No, seriously, it's kind of like dating. Like, you know, there's a million fish in the sea. Yeah, but which one is suitable for me?
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And that's the problem we have nowadays, an excessive flow of information that we don't know how to just sit back and, like, you know, try to, like, take the opportunity. That's why a lot of veterans, like, you'll see them, they go from job to job. I was one of those veterans. I'm like, oh, man, this job, I'm going to be doing this. Okay, cool, it pays me this much. And then at the end, it was like, no, that was the wrong idea.
So what are some of the challenges you've seen in business that correlates to the issues that you had in the military?
People, man. Like, just people. Like, getting people to, like, be educated as to what I do is one of the biggest challenges I have. And just being able to explain to people without them trying to get, you know, jumpy. So I just, like, sit back and I smile now. Like,
dude.
It is.
We can't walk around grimacing anymore. You have to literally smile at people, because I realized nobody was approaching me. I was unapproachable because I walked around with the Marine clenched face all the time, and it worked for me in the Marine Corps. It's not going to work for you out here.
That's why I just smile all the time. But I have different smiles. Yeah. I have levels of smile. Like there's one smile that not a lot of people have seen, that it's like my hypocritical smile. Like, I'll catch you sleeping. Don't worry.
Yes, I called my buddy Byron Elmore. He was the best. I called him Crazy Eyes.
The crazy Joker eyes. Smile, the crazy eyes. Yeah.
He would smile at you, knife hand you, and threaten your life.
Yeah. See, when I get upset, I just talk like really low voice and what like that.
Why are you talking so low right now? Are you upset with me?
Oh no, God no. I'm not upset. I'm having a beer and I'm having a good time. Dude, we're in Florida, man. Dude. Like the weather's nice. It's like 50 degrees.
Have you been out here?
I have not, but I'm about to go.
Yeah, we're gonna
out
go
there later.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, man, but no, man. Like the thing is like you have to realize that, you know, in my line of work, like it's educating the public.
Yes.
Like, well, my cousin can do it, so that's one of the biggest issues we have is just educating the public, man.
So what kind of goals do you have for your business?
I want to be the Michael Jordan in Missouri.
You're a big Michael Jordan fan.
I am. I was a Bulls fan, bro.
Yep.
My dad loves them, but like I want to be like the guy in Missouri, especially in Springfield, that everybody goes to and everybody knows to, and then I want to have a good staff which I do have. I have a great staff right now. I hope they don't hear that. And they're really good people, but I want to get them like to a level where it's like above where they're at. They may not see it, but I see the potential. So that's what I want to do right now.
So what's your ideal client look like? Like if anybody out there would be ideal for you to bring on and help?
I actually have a list of like clients that I love to work with.
You need to. Client avatars are everything, man.
Ashton Kutcher is actually one of them. He runs Thorn. It's a human trafficking organization.
Big, yes.
Yeah, huge. He's huge. Yeah, I would love, if Ashton is watching right now, to go work for him for like a year-long contract and just go and pull people out of like human trafficking situations. I'd love to work with what's it called? Triple Canopy. They have squads of people that they go to Costa Rica all the time and Colombia and other places where they pull people and they need interpreters. But like in essence, those are like my perfect clients. Is people that they're like, they know what they need. They don't want to bullshit around. They're not gonna like underprice me, you know. And you know, people are always gonna haggle. You know, that's cool. But like clients that are like, okay, this is what we need. I know that you're the guy for it because XYZ things. Let's get work done and just sign and go. You know, that's like my perfect client. But if Thorn is listening and Ashton's watching, I would also love to roll with Ashton because he's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, he's purple belt.
Yeah, Ashton's a purple belt, but he did wrestling, so.
Oh.
Yeah,
he's long, man.
He's very long. You gotta attack. You gotta attack his feet.
Yeah, you have
to attack his feet.
You're just gonna fall down.
Yeah, you have to
come
attack
to my
his
guard.
Feet. Yeah,
come to my bear.
He's
den.
under Machado too. Those guys have really sick guard and they have really good darces. So
there you go. There you go.
It's interesting.
My buddy Nate's gonna love this interview because he's all about that. I mean, he sends us memes about BJJ all the time, and he's the only one that really truly loves BJJ. But he just has to share it. It's great.
Yeah, my goal right now, man, is like I told this to Lucas 4 months ago, is to let the business run and just me start training again consecutively because I love training.
Yeah.
It's just, man, you know, sometimes
priorities, dude.
It's difficult to explain to people because they're like, well, you're not a doctor. And it's like, well, if you looked at my inbox, like, you would understand a little bit more, man.
And it's almost like you don't even have to explain it then. Because if they don't understand, they're not going to get it. You know, it's...
But you got to understand one thing, man. Like, I was a guy that, you know, I was training 2 to 3 times a day every day, 5 to 6 times a week. And then I'm the guy that now shows up once a week, you know? So people are like, oh, what's going on? He got fat and this and that. And it's like, well, there's some other stuff to it, but that's my goal, is just to run the business and me be able to go like on jiu-jitsu trips and like go train and whatnot.
Absolutely. Like where I'm at was I had to stop training as hard because I didn't have the energy. You know, my 3-hour workouts when I was younger and in the Marine Corps and then after the Marine Corps, that was great when I was going to school. But now that I'm running a business and doing all this stuff, it's just something else. So let's talk about a little bit of the leadership traits that you learned in the military and what kind of really helped you become the CEO that you've wanted to become.
You know, man, I was talking to your buddy, and I think I like founder better than CEO, to be honest with you. So that's going to change here pretty soon. I got to analyze it more. But, like, to me, like, I don't tell my staff to do something that I wouldn't do. Mm-hmm. Like, if I'm expected to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to fucking get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people, like, in business, they try to do something that they themselves wouldn't do or they don't know how to do. And that just creates a problem. Because now what you're doing is, in essence, you've created a problem that someone has a solution. And without you realizing it a lot of times, and I've seen this happen, is that person will leave and create a business out of that problem that you presented that you had no idea how to do. So Like right now, I'm learning, you know, medical terminology a lot more, and I'm almost done with my medical terminology certification. I'm not gonna tell my staff like, you don't know how to say anthropologist, or you know, our fibular artery, or you know, femoral artery in Spanish. Like, I'm not gonna expect them to know something. Why? Because I don't have the answers. And just being honest, like there's nothing more devastating for people to hear that I don't know. But at the same time, what I tell people is at this time I don't have the answer. Because I may not have the answer right now, but I'll have the answer later. And I think you got to be honest with it.
You seem to have done a lot of work on your mindset. I mean, your whole life probably. I'm there with you. I feel like I relate to you a lot in terms of just growth. It's consistent growth throughout the entire life. So specifically the transition process and focusing on veterans, what were some of the things, resources, ideas, methodologies to overhaul your mindset and really start getting out of your own way to achieve the success and execute on what it is you need to execute to be successful?
The thing is, man, is like it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like, there's not a lack of resources. There's a lack of knowledge of resources. You know, I can personally name 5 veteran-owned companies that are helping veterans. I can also name at least 15 people that I know I can call right now, and if I needed a body dumped, you know, to go to an extreme level, they probably would help. And I mean that's
the veteran humor we were talking about.
Exactly. See, but like what I'm trying to say is that you have to like know what you want to do and just go for it. People are always going to give you but, if, or ands. I can't tell you how many people, you know, last year were like, oh yeah, you're just going to make a translation business, and now they see where we're at and they're like, oh yeah, like what's up, homie? Like, come here, let me get some of that love. Let me get, you know, let me hug you. And it's like, yeah, you know, that's cool. You know, I'll never turn someone down. But at the same time, in my mind, I know like, okay, cool, like you weren't there, you know, and you had zero faith, so I just keep you at bay, you know.
One arm distance.
And you have to learn like how to do that, and it takes a lot of like losing,
trial and
man.
error.
It takes a lot of trial and error, and that's what a lot of people don't get.
Failure.
You know?
Chase it.
You
Chase
have
it.
to. Not even. Don't
Embrace
chase.
it.
Don't
Embrace
chase
it.
failure,
Oh,
man.
embrace
You gotta
it.
embrace it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like I hate.
No, when I say chase failure, I don't mean actually like try to fail. What I say about chasing failure is doing something you don't know you could succeed at.
Correct.
And surprise yourself when you do.
Correct.
75% of the time.
Because let me tell you, a lot of the guys, and my professor Brian Stubner says this, he's like, oh, you know, you win or you learn. Like, no, you win or you lose. Because guess what? The guy who won first place in insert whatever competition here, that dinner is going to taste way more tasty than the guy that got, you know, oh, I lost my first match, or I didn't make it. Like, stop the madness. But you should learn from your mistakes. Like, you should be able to like meticulously like break down the mistake and the avenues that you.
I think the lack of introspection is a big aspect of humanity right now. Is a lot of people don't look back at themselves and see what they could have done better in any given situation.
I think that's not an issue. I think we do that too much, and I think that's why a lot of people get in their heads. I think the issue is just learning and moving on. I think that's where we're at right now. Is like just not even let go. Just don't let that define who the fuck you are. And I think that's the issue that a lot of people have, is that, you know, a lot of veterans have too. They're like, oh man, yeah, I used to do this and I used to do that. Well, no one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck about your shiny medals. Like, I'm sorry to say this, but like they really don't.
Your salad is no longer green.
Your salad, exactly. But however, those skills that you have and that experience, dude, put it to good use. Look at Tim Kennedy, man. Tim Kennedy's a monster of a human being, and the dude's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he also does. He like probably, I don't know, he probably snorts cocaine out of a hooker's butt because he's always doing stuff, man. Like, that guy's always going. Look at The Rock, you know, to give an example of a celebrity. That guy, like, I follow him a little bit on Facebook. He's always hustling.
Since I was a
like
kid,
that dude will record 5 movies in a year at the same time. So, you know, there's examples of people out there who are hustling, but they're quiet about it. You know what I'm saying? People don't see it because people who are closed-minded.
Hold a big stick.
Exactly. Like, I'm here right now. There's probably like 100,000 people that you know follow us that don't even know that we're here, or they don't even know what I do. There's people that still think I'm in the military. And it's like, nah, homie, I'm not. Like, I've been out for a while. You know. So it's just a matter of finding that perspective of like, just move on, man. Just move on. You have to. Because that's why we have, unfortunately, that's why we have a lot of people who just, they get into their head, man.
So if you can give one sage piece of advice to a military member who's about to transition or is currently transitioning, is going through a rough spot, or potentially will go through a rough spot, what is that? What would be that sage piece of advice? It just depends,
man. It just depends. I know people, like, I do conference talks, not conference talks, like I'm a guest speaker sometimes at the Soldiers for Life or whatever the hell they call it nowadays. And I tell people all the time, you know, keep an open mind. Murphy Law. Murphy Law applies more in the civilian sector, in my opinion, than it does in the military.
Man.
Unless we're at war.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is...
But you're trained to adapt and overcome. Like,
but the thing is,
here,
we're trained. But the thing is, like, you feel lost because you always had a guidance. You always had someone, like, you know, you always had that one person in the platoon that was like, yo, where can I get this? That's easy, my man. You go here.
Yep.
And that's what I kind of, like, tell people, like, become that person. And it goes well with clients because I have clients that they're like, oh, man, we need this done. I go, hey, I got a guy that can do that. And I don't make any money out of it. But it's just in terms of, like, helping people.
Pay it forward, man.
Exactly. So that's what I think, like, the biggest thing that I would tell someone is, like, Murphy Law applies in the civilian sector, and just keep an open mind. Because I know guys that are like, I'm going to be a cop, I'm going to be a cop, or I'm going to be a medic, I'm going to be a medic. And then it's like, well, I suck at math, or well, I had this problem, or well, I got divorced, or well, I can't pass the psych eval. Okay, cool, then let's move on to the next thing. Like, our professor, like, and I bring Caio up because if you ever see Caio fight Bruno Malfacina in this last Worlds that he did, Caio got robbed. Like, legitimately, he got robbed. And, you know, after that, Caio was like, all right, cool, then I guess we're going to move forward. And in my mind, I'm like, nah, I'd be pretty upset. Like, I'd be pretty upset for a couple of weeks.
It is what
but
it is.
Caio is just, like, so good at, like, just, all right, fuck it.
Yep.
You know?
That's
and I don't know what his mindset is, but that's just, like, what I've learned from Caio and through jiu-jitsu is just like, okay, cool, that didn't work. Fuck it, move it on. You know, let's just keep moving on. Because if you dwell on it too much, man, like, it's going to eat you. It's going to eat you, and you're going to end up drinking, like, a whole bottle of Jameson on a Monday morning when your dogs are just looking at you. Not that it's happened to me.
Yes.
But...
Thank you so much, Sergeant.
Thank you so much,
Ricardo
man.
Aviles, for coming on the show. This wraps up episode 25 of Vetting America. I'd like to thank the Attic Cafe in downtown Tampa for allowing us to use their spot here today. I'd like to thank our amazing executive producer, Anthony Kovic. I'd like to thank Chris Chrismistos, podfest.us, Richard McIntyre, McIntyreFirm.com. This wraps up another edition of Vetting America. I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in and supporting me. And if there's anybody that you think can use this information that this amazing individual has just given us, please like, share, and send it to everyone. I really appreciate it. I love you guys. Thank you so much again.
Dude, no, thank you, man.
And
it's been awesome.
I'll see you next week.